Dwayne here, PhoenixTypewriter.com. We're going to take the Platen and Ratchet out of this Smith Corona 1940s Smith Corona Silent. It matches quite a few models of this era. But I did notice what our goal is to get this Ratchet out and show how to replace that. The Ratchets I have are different looking. They have numbers on them. This Ratchet has no numbers, but I think it's the same Ratchet. So let's pull the Platen on this thing first. Some models have a quick release over here. Some models have an assembly you have to disassemble. This one has a slider. This chrome piece right here, it slides backwards like that. And I already tried this, and usually you have to loosen these screws. They're usually too tight. They've never been loosened. You might have to take the knob off to reach these screws. But this slider actually worked, and then that will come right out of here. Let's go to the other side first and prepare removal of the Platen. You have to do that by pulling the variable. Let's pop this Platen out of here. It's pretty simple at this point. Just like that, just wedges right out there. Let's set that back there. So we're going to work on this Ratchet here and take the Ratchet out. Next step is to take this rod out, the variable rod. And it's got a little nut on the end here. And you have to grab it with something here. And just unscrew it. Loosen that up. Hold the shaft. Unscrew the piece there. Take the nut off it. And just pull that shaft out. And now we have just the knob, and that turns this cylinder right in here. These two are connected until you loosen these set screws right here. So let's do that. And you'll have to take them out. You just have to loosen them. And that will separate. And that shaft will come out of here. And now we can get to the Ratchet here. And that will manipulate out of here. It comes out, it's got the index paw. That's part of the, fits in this little groove here, but this whole thing will work its way right out of here. Also, this machine, these early machines don't have a detent release lever per se. So when it has to be reinstalled, you need to flex the detent lever out of the way so it will bypass these teeth. So here's our Ratchet, and I believe this demonstration is to show how this piece wears right in here. These teeth, these little teeth, will wear down, and when they get stripped out, it won't grip. When you know those are stripped out, there's usually a lot of black debris in here. This one's clean because it's still good. But sure enough, that Ratchet does look the same as this Ratchet. Even though this one's got writing numbers on it, I think it's the same. Got a little different design. This one sometimes would break free of this where they connect these two pieces. Okay, so that Ratchet's good. And see how the teeth are good in here too. Of course, this is brand new, so but this one looks pretty good too. So that's good. Well, the corresponding piece of that is on the Platen roller itself here, and it's these little guys right here. These little, there's two of them on these, And when the plunger goes in there, this plunger, it moves these. It moves those teeth up. So when that goes in there, you can see the, see if I can get this just right. It moves those teeth up. Yeah, moving. So move it just a little bit. That engages those teeth. So I've also got those parts here. And that's what those look like. They got little teeth on them, like a little knife blade, and that's what engages those little slots. So if it's making noises like that, it's probably bad. Either these are bad, the ratchet's bad, or both. This is just held on by a spring, and it goes into the slot and a spring, and it comes off pretty easy. I'm not going to remove this. It's pretty straightforward, but let's take a peek anyhow. How that comes off of there. You can just slip this off and then just reattach it. It kind of falls into place. It's got little notches. To make this work, you just have to connect the spring to the other loop here, right there. Okay, that's how that works. Putting it back together, like I said, is a little tricky. You got to get this little notch in the groove here of that ratchet, and then just have to manipulate it onto the shaft there. Takes a little bit to once it gets started. And then the trick is this piece here in the back. And there's a way to do this. So here's our ratchet. It needs to go past the detent still. That detent is, if you put something right in this lever and move this piece right here, flex that piece, that will move the detent out of place, and that ratchet will move back to where it belongs. Do some manipulating. Make sure you get that in place. That's good. You'll know it's in place because these will be flush here, these two pieces. Those two pieces are flush. If not, it's sticking out too far like that. It's got to be flush. That's ready to be reassembled. Again, to reassemble this, you just got to put this shaft back in, put the knob on, tighten it up, make sure it spins freely with very, very little play. If it needs to be cleaned, it's quite possible. Clean the shafts, get rid of the old oil, and put a couple drops of oil on it. Next thing is put the plunger back in here, the variable plunger. Find the nut. Put that on. Usually you just screw this nut all the way on until it bottoms out here. And then tighten the little knobby on there. Like that. Give this a little twist. And that's it. We'll throw the Platen back in here. So that's how you get to the ratchet index assembly variable, and investigate it if you need to, or if you're removing it just to clean the typewriter or replace the roller or something. It's pretty easy. This side will just snap. So everything's lined up. When you put that roller back in, make sure the plunger's out. Close the bracket. That doesn't sound right. That's better. The spin halfway engaged. So there it spins freely, locks into place. And it's tight. It's not slipping. Okay, so remember the key factor, this set of ridges in here right on the edge. Make sure those are still good. And gotta finish our video for the moment. Good day.